Okay, the time has come. So RRR is Indian cinema, Tollywood, not Bollywood, that I've gotten a lot of requests to review. In that, I can't help but feel the expectation for this review, and I can only feel like I'm gonna disappoint people because I don't know what I can bring to the conversation that hasn't already been said. But if you're curious as to my opinion on RRR, well, here we go. So RRR is directed by director S.S. Rajamouli, and essentially what they've done, took a couple of historical revolutionary figures from India, and they were like, let's put them in a movie, and make them action heroes. So the setup of the film, it takes place in the early 20th century. India's under British occupation. Ray Stevenson plays Big British Dick, I guess we'll call him that. And there's this little girl and they're like, oh, she sings so well. We'll just take her, we'll kidnap her without a second thought. So Beam is like, I'll get her back. That's his quest. He's going to find this girl who's been kidnapped. And then on the other side of things, and this is a big hook, it's just very compelling for me, Raju. Right when meeting him, you are immediately met with that feeling of why are you in the military of the British colonial oppressors? How? Why? It's just very compelling for me. Also, I guess he's the biggest badass in the country. Because in a scene where it's him versus everybody in an absurdly entertaining hook that is just going to draw you in. So Raju's looking for Beam. Beam is looking for this girl. And then these two guys become friends. Best friends. And as much as we're going to talk about the action, I will get there. That's the core of the story. It is a film about friendship. Again, with the great hooks that just draw me in. It's like this movie was crafted in ways like, how do we get to Jeremy's brain? Yeah, this is good. Two guys who are friends on opposite sides of this fight. They don't know it. There's so many close calls to where they're going to find out, but they don't. The friendship of these two guys is the core of the film. You're just waiting for it to explode. You're waiting for it to just blow up, metaphorically speaking, that is. And Raju's a good friend. You know, they have their dance off and he just acts like he blows out his knee to help his friend look like he won the dance contest because he's trying to impress a girl. Dude is a good friend because we all did it. We all know what that's like. We all purposely missed the shot in Mass Effect 3 where we're shooting with Garrus. We know what a good friend is, and that dude's a good friend. And for my part, I didn't know anything about the people these two characters are based off of, so I didn't know where this was going. And I'm not even going to tell you where it's going because that was a huge part of the intrigue for me. And I suppose there's going to be two sides of the entertainment spectrum on this one. One side's going to be like, oh, I can't wait to see where this is going because I know where it's going. There's going to be people like me like, I don't know, and that's why I'm hooked. So the action sequences, how are they? They are literally everything I can sink my teeth into. They're entertaining, they're over the top. Funny enough, the CGI animals, there's this disclaimer that comes out at the beginning. It's like, we didn't use any real animals. They are CGI. It was like, oh, we know. I mean, you can tell the animals in this movie. I've seen better CGI out there. But the spirit of the film is alive, my friends. I don't care that there was an entire CGI zoo that was brought into a fight. I just love the fact that they were all brought into the fight. It really shows you. It's like people always gripe about, oh, CGI, you can notice CGI. What they mean is the spirit of the film is dull as shit. Because if the spirit of the film is alive, you can forgive bad CGI. My experience anyway. And it's not just that. There are bow and arrow fights. Dude swings a motorcycle around as a weapon at one point. But the fights in the cinematography, they were clean. You could see what was happening. That, above all else, I appreciate. If you're going to give me an action movie, at least frame it up to where I can see it. Which is kind of a wild thought. Take historical figures from history that deals with very heavy content and make them action heroes. But without compromising any of the seriousness and weight of the subject matter. There's still heart-wrenching subject matter. It's not lost because like, oh, it's action sequence. Same with the dance sequences and musical sequences. I've heard people say they felt out of place. They didn't feel out of place for me. They felt within context. Like the dance sequence I already mentioned. It was a fun, energetic way of showing the character relationships, showing them advance. Raju and Beam's friendship, plus stuffy British guys like, this is disgusting. She's like, yeah, well, they're fun and you're not later, dick. I thought it was a creatively entertaining way of having our two mains shoot classism in the face. There's also a scene that's a very heavy scene, in which case, now it's a musical scene. Dude starts singing. That didn't feel out of place for me either. It felt within context. I've seen many movies and or animations that had musical sequences among a heavy scene. Using music to evoke emotion, it's a time-honored tradition among cinema. So it all felt within context for me. It is craftsmanship to have an action film that has absurd over-the-top action spectacle, dance sequences, musical sequences, but none of it takes away from the gravity of the situation and the tragedies that happen in situations like this. Also, the action being over the top. Was it cheesy over the top? As with all things, depends on how you look at it. Suppose you could say it's cheesy over the top, but for me, it came across as fun. The kind of fun that Hollywood used to know how to have. It was refreshing in that sense. RRR's like the movie within a movie in a Tarantino film, only it's actually a movie in our world. I saw a quote, you know those sizzle quotes that reviewers and critics give, and they'll be like, that's a good one. Bam, it's right there. Something along the lines of, this is the movie that should make Hollywood nervous. I agree. And again, with RRR becoming as big as it's become, Hollywood will try to capture that lightning in a bottle in the most sterile, boring, and manufactured way possible. And I promise you, it's not going to feel the same. So yes, RRR should make Hollywood nervous. Also, cherry on top, cannot go without addressing this. This film is 3 hours long, and it's probably, I'm going to say one of the best, because I don't want to say the best, and then after this video's up, like, this other one they did do it well. Shouldn't have said the best. So I keep it vague and pull it back by saying one of the best, but this is one of the best uses of time management in a movie I've ever seen. 3 hours long never felt like 3 hours long. The movie always had momentum. It was always being pushed forward. They made the most of their time. I've seen 90-minute movies that drag on far more than this 3-hour film. This movie, I don't think is going to be for everybody in Western audiences. Some people might find tonal conflicts. Some people might find the action sequences over the top in that cheesy way rather than a fun or fulfilling way. But for me, not only was the movie fun, not only was it fulfilling, but it was memorable. I'm going to remember RRR. And if I'm being honest, movies like this are why I came up with the term awesome-tacular. Because sometimes awesome and spectacular just, they're not enough on their own. You gotta combine them. I thought RRR was awesome-tacular. Had a lot of fans suggesting this when I'm flipping it now. Thank you for clicking on my face, putting it at the end of the video. Seriously, I appreciate all of you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for recommending I watch RRR. So RRR, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.